Yes, beta. We have already since discussed motion in one dimension. So today our next step will be motion in a plane. We will discuss motion in a plane. बेटा प्लेन कितने एक्सिस से मिलकर बनता है बेटा? इट इज मेड अप ऑफ द एट लीस्ट टू. बेटा मैक्सिमम तो बहुत हो जाएंगे, बहुत सारे एक्सिस खींच सकते हैं, बट एटलीस्ट टू एक्सिस से मिल करके एक प्लेन बनता है. मोशन इन अ प्लेन, या इसी का नाम है मोशन इन टू डायमेंशन. क्या नाम है बेटा? टू डायमेंशन. टू डायमेंशन. इट मीन्स दैट when the body will move, it have two components of velocity. But in straight line motion, but a straight line में body move करता है. We do not split the component into two velocity vectors. But बेटा ये plane में move करेगा. जैसे एक बॉल को अगर आप फेंकेंगे इस तरह से, so this ball will move like this. बेटा इस तरह के पाथ को और थोड़ा सा और ऊपर करके फेंकेंगे, it will move like this. But this path, if you trace this path, for tracing this path, at least two axes required, x and y, to represent the position of any particle. X coordinate, y coordinate required. So, by the help of two axes, what forms? Plane. The trajectory means path, followed by the body is called projectile. Projectile. बेटा जब भी आप जैसे जैवलिन थ्रो करते हैं ना, फेंकते हैं, कैसा जाता है? किस पाथ में जाता है बेटा? This path is called parabolic path. Since for representing the different points, a plane is required. It means two axes, x and y axis is required. Two dimension. Hence the motion is called two-dimensional motion. When the body will move, it has two components of velocity, one along x direction, one along y direction. So when the body moves, and its velocity can be split into two parts, such type of motion is called two-dimensional motion. Such type of motion is called two. But when we throw any body in air, it moves like this. Either missile or anything, we throw a stone. But when we throw any body direct vertically upward, it moves vertically upward and just fall down at the same point. So this is the example of motion in 1D. But if you throw any body, but by making an angle certain theta with the horizontal, then the body do not remain moving in a straight line. It moves in a plane. बेटा इस प्लेन पर मूव करता, इस प्लेन वर्टिकल प्लेन पर. अगर इस बोर्ड को हमने वर्टिकल डायरेक्शन में रखा हुआ तो वर्टिकल प्लेन में. सिमिलरली बेटा अगर अर्थ के सरफेस पर if you what you do, if you keeps on moving in a circular path, but you keeps on changing its direction. If this is the center, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, so this is the example of, since it contains two axes, x and y. So if a body is moving over the plane surface, for example, a body is moving on a circular path on the plane surface road. This is also the example of planar motion, 2D motion, two-dimensional motion. So in this chapter, we will discuss about two types of motion. First one is circular motion. Second one is circular motion. And first one that we will discuss is projectile motion. Projectile motion. So these two types of motion are the example of motion in a plane. or 2D, capital D, dimensional motion. So beta, all of you write down the type of motion in which will the velocity have two components. Write down the type of motion in which the velocity have two components. Have two components. Chalo beta. Let us discuss about projectile motion. First type of motion is projectile motion. What is the definition of projectile motion? If a body is projected, project means फेंका जाता है, thrown. If a body is projected by making a certain angle theta, a certain angle theta with the horizontal, then the body moves a parabolic path. Parabolic, beta parabolic क्या होता है? Just like this. और एंगल कम किए, it looks like this. This path is called parabolic path. Moves a parabolic path. Such type of motion is called projectile. Such type of motion is called projectile motion. It's called projectile motion. Now you see here, beta. In case of projectile motion, let us see. Let a body is thrown with initial velocity u, and it makes an angle theta. The body is thrown with initial velocity u by making an angle theta with this horizontal. Now see here, what will happen? You draw perpendicular, beta see here 90 degree. This is hypotenuse, this is base, this is perpendicular. Beta cos theta is equals to base upon hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is the velocity vector u. U is the velocity vector u. But this is in division side, this will come this side, it will be product. So base will become u cos theta. It means along the base, the component of velocity is what? U cos theta. U cos theta is the component of velocity in horizontal direction. See here, beta. We have projected the body. What is the condition here? Let a body is projected by making an angle. We are discussing what? Projectile motion. Projectile motion. Let a body is projected with initial velocity u. With initial velocity u by making an angle theta. By making an angle theta with the horizontal. Then see here, beta. You know this is a right angle triangle. Cos theta is equals to base upon hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is u. You come this side. So along the base direction, that is along the horizontal direction, the component of velocity u cos theta. बेटा कंपोनेंट का मतलब सिंपल भाषा में क्या बोलते हैं कि इस वेलोसिटी का कितना हिस्सा हॉरिजॉन्टल डायरेक्शन की ओर लग रहा है. And if you put perpendicular this side, this component will be vertical component u sin theta. How u sin theta? Let us see here. But a sin theta is equals to, just tell me, sin theta is equals to, in this triangle, this is 90 degrees, so this is hypotenuse. Sin theta p upon hypotenuse is velocity vector u. U come this side, perpendicular, along the perpendicular, the velocity vector become u sin theta. Now see here, beta, when we throw any body, let us assume if u cos theta is not there. We are throwing the body in vertically upward direction. So what will happen if we are throwing a ball just in vertically upward direction? What happens? As the ball moves upward, the velocity of the body goes on decreasing because the gravity is pulling it backward, downward. So what happened? The velocity of the body goes on decreasing until and ultimately it becomes zero, and then it returns back and it started to fall down. And now when the body started to fall down, its velocity goes on increasing. Why the velocity goes on increasing? Because the gravity is pulling down. So the velocity of the body goes on increasing. If you draw the trajectory better, if you throw anybody along this direction, then this body will move like this stone or javelin throw you have thrown. But see here, if we u cos theta, the length of u cos theta will remain same, but the length of this u sin theta goes on decreasing. Can anybody say why this goes on decreasing but u cos theta remains same? बेटा कोई मुझे बता सकता है? यहाँ u cos theta ही रहेगा. Maximum height पर जब हम किसी ball को direct you assume like this, when we are throwing the ball in upward direction, velocity goes on decreasing, ultimately it becomes zero. When it becomes zero, it will not further move upward. Now it started to fall down, and when it's returned in downward direction, the velocity goes on increasing. So similar is the condition we are showing with the vertical component. But बेटा ऐसे करके incline करके फीका तो horizontal direction में भी कुछ component है जो इसको दूर ले जाने का काम करता है. The distance that the projectile move is called, this is called horizontal range, and the height, that maximum height attained by the projectile is called h maximum, maximum height. Now beta tell me, which component of velocity provide maximum height? Which component of velocity taking this projectile in vertically upward direction? Yes beta, anybody can say yes, give answer. Yes beta, all of you. This sin theta component. And which component taking this projectile to maximum range? That is u cos theta. U cos theta provides the range. U cos theta is acting along the horizontal direction. So u cos theta provides range. Now see here beta. Beta see here, u cos theta, this is known as horizontal component of velocity. तो बेटा आप किसी बॉडी को ऐसे फेंकेंगे तो ये आपको horizontal direction में ले जाएगा. u cos theta. बेटा अगर कोई बॉल है u cos theta velocity से मानिए horizontal direction में we are throwing this ball. बेटा gravity किधर लग रहा है बेटा? Gravity acceleration is acting in downward direction. बेटा acceleration किधर लग रहा है? Downward. बट हमने ये इक्वेशन पढ़ा हुआ है v is equals to u plus at. बट ये बेटा दिस इज द इक्वेशन ऑफ वन डायमेंशनल मोशन. वन डायमेंशन मतलब जिस डायरेक्शन में इनिशियल वेलोसिटी है उसी डायरेक्शन में एक्सेलरेशन हो, प्लस लिखते हैं. For example, if you are leaving any ball, the ball is falling down. What is if you are throwing any ball in vertically downward direction, the gravity is pulling. It means initial velocity and acceleration produced due to pull. Both are in the same direction. बेटा प्लस gt लिखते थे. और अपोजिट वो एक्सेलरेशन नीचे और मोशन ऊपर. इनिशियल वेलोसिटी ऊपर माइनस लिखते थे, लेकिन अगर परपेंडिकुलर हो तो क्या लिखेंगे बेटा? इस एक्सेलरेशन से ये 90 डिग्री, द कंपोनेंट ऑफ दिस एक्सेलरेशन अलोंग दिस डायरेक्शन इज एंगल a cos theta. Acceleration का component 90 degree. A cos theta. Theta is 90. Cos 90 is 0. So acceleration in horizontal direction due to gravity will be 0 along horizontal direction. No part of gravity act. क्यों बेटा? क्योंकि ये 90 डिग्री लग रहा है बेटा, ये वेक्टर है, इस वेक्टर के एक्सेलरेशन इज अ वेक्टर क्वांटिटी, तो 90 डिग्री डायरेक्शन में बेटा ये एंगल क्या है? थीटा। एक्सेलरेशन का कंपोनेंट इस डायरेक्शन में कितना लगेगा? अलोंग हॉरिजॉन्टल डायरेक्शन, दैट इज a cos थीटा। जस्ट लाइक दिस इज वेक्टर u, थीटा एंगल बना है बेटा परपेंडिकुलर इस डायरेक्शन में u cos थीटा। उसी तरह a एक्सेलरेशन का कंपोनेंट थीटा डायरेक्शन में, थीटा डायरेक्शन में, थीटा डायरेक्शन में यू cos थीटा, तो ए का कंपोनेंट इधर थीटा डायरेक्शन में ए cos थीटा। व्हाट इज थीटा? व्हाट इज थीटा? 90 cos 90 क्या होता है बेटा? 0, 0 into something 0, so ultimately acceleration is 0 along horizontal direction, so that's why what in horizontal direction, better write down, in horizontal direction, in horizontal direction acceleration is 0, acceleration is 0. Why? Since g cos 90, एक्सेलरेशन कौन सा लगता है बेटा? जब भी कोई बॉल को ऊपर हवा में ऊपर नीचे एंगल बनाकर हॉरिजॉन्टल फेंको, कभी भी चाहे ऐसे फेंकिए चाहे ऐसे फेंकिए, थीटा 45 60 30 या हॉरिजॉन्टल फेंकिए बेटा, ग्रेविटी ऑलवेज एक्ट वर्टिकली डाउन, ग्रेविटी ऑलवेज एक्ट वर्टिकली डाउनवर्ड, तो नो कंपोनेंट ऑफ g एक्ट इन 90 डिग्री डायरेक्शन। क्यों बेटा? cos 90 0, ग्रेविटी का कोई भी कंपोनेंट हॉरिजॉन्टल डायरेक्शन में नहीं लगेगा बेटा। आपने क्लास 9th में भी पढ़ा था, मैथमेटिकल एक्सप्रेशन नहीं था वहां। Here we have connected with the mathematical expression. You have to solve. Why? When anybody moves along horizontal direction, the work done is 0. The velocity of the body do not change along horizontal direction when we are throwing in body in air. तो बेटा एयर में जब फेंकते हैं तो ग्रेविटी नीचे लगती है, ग्रेविटी यानी कि एक्सेलरेशन बॉडी का ग्रेविटेशनल पुल की वजह से नीचे लगता है, एंड नो पार्ट ऑफ दिस एक्सेलरेशन एक्ट अलोंग हॉरिजॉन्टल डायरेक्शन, एक्सेलरेशन अलोंग हॉरिजॉन्टल डायरेक्शन इज 0, so therefore what we can say, velocity along horizontal direction, what is the initial velocity along horizontal direction? U cos theta. What is the acceleration? 0, 0 into t 0. It means with the passage of time the horizontal component of velocity always remains same. If initial horizontal is u cos theta, here u cos theta, here u cos theta, but a u cos theta component of velocity will always remain same. नहीं बदलेगा, never change. But vertical component, see here beta, in which direction gravity acts? Downward, and due to this the vertical component of velocity goes on decreasing, and at maximum height it becomes 0. Final velocity of vertical component becomes 0. Where? At maximum height. At maximum height, the vertical component of velocity becomes 0. Now, we will derive our formula. After this, everything is very easy. बेटा सी ये प्रोजेक्टाइल है, हमने फेंका, यहाँ से यहाँ आने में जो समय लगा, that is called the time of flight, time of projectile. So first formula that we will discuss about is time of projectile, time of flight. What is the formula that we will discuss about? That is time of projectile. Time of projectile. Now listen here. Our first heading is time of flight. Yeah, projectile. Projectile. Time of projectile. See here, brother. This is U. See here, बेटा ये क्या लगा बेटा यहाँ से यहाँ आने में जो समय लगा दिस इज कॉल्ड द टी टाइम ऑफ प्रोजेक्टाइल ये पूरा कंप्लीट करने में दिस इज कॉल्ड ट्रेजेक्टरी ट्रेजेक्टरी मींस एक्चुअल पाथ moved by the projectile so here trajectory is parabolic in case of motion in one day the trajectory was linear straight line here trajectory is parabolic now see here at if the total time of flight is t तो बेटा देखिए एक बॉल को ऊपर फेंकेंगे जितना देर ऊपर जाने में लगेगा मानिए 10 सेकंड लगा तो ऊपर से भी नीचे आने में 10 सेकंड लगेगा तो यहाँ से मैक्सिमम हाइट तक जाने में t टाइम लिया मैक्सिमम रेंज जाने में t समय लिया if it takes t time t is the time of flight then when the projectile will reach at a maximum height here time will be t by 2 and who is taking the ball or projectile in upward direction u sin theta so we can say that the u sin theta becomes 0 at maximum height so now at maximum height what we can say for upward journey what is the formula yes beta upward journey v square is equals to u square ऊपर जा रहे बेटा gravity is pulling down तो -2gh बेटा क्या फॉर्मूला लगाते हैं for upward journey motion against gravity just in the last class we have studied which formula third equation motion converted v square is equal to u square minus क्यों बेटा when we throw any body gravity is acting downward direction acceleration due to gravity downward so against -2g beta इसे बाद में यूज करेंगे फर्स्ट फॉर्मूला यूज करते बेटा तो at maximum height when the time is half t by 2 if the total time is t what is the initial velocity in upward direction who is taking the ball in upward direction u sin theta what is the acceleration g downward that's why minus sign what is the final velocity final means at this time what is the velocity at time t by 2 the vertical component velocity becomes 0 अगर 0 नहीं हुआ रहता तब तो ये और ऊंचाई जाता बेटा और ऊंचाई जाता yet at maximum height the vertical component of velocity becomes 0 who provide maximum height vertical component of velocity who provide maximum height vertical component of velocity बेटा now see here 0 लिख दिया बेटा इसको इधर लाएंगे माइनस साइन प्लस जी टी अपॉन 2 दिस u cos theta बेटा 2 get multiplied g get division form so time of flight will be to get multiplied 2u sin theta upon g comes downward so this is the formula for time of projectile this is the formula for time of projectile or time of flight so if you are given that certain body is projected with initial velocity u by making that certain angle theta beta 30 40 60 जो भी दिया रहेगा तो क्या करेंगे बेटा पुट करेंगे थीटा के वैल्यू साइन का फॉर्म में एंड जी 9.8 you will get time of flight अब देखो बेटा in this time beta t तो ये पूरा this whole time during this time the body moves horizontal distance this horizontal distance is named as range तो बेटा रेंज इस डायरेक्शन में वेलोसिटी का कंपोनेंट क्या है, पीछे देखो बेटा u cos थीटा, ये ले जाएगा रेंज। हु टेक्स, हु प्रोवाइड्स, हु प्रोवाइड्स रेंज, u cos थीटा, ये वेलोसिटी का ये कंपोनेंट रेंज प्रोवाइड करेगा। नाउ next formula that we will derive is range of projectile. Now here we write which component provide, right? Beta t is equals to 2u sin theta upon g. Just remember t is equals to 2u sin theta upon g, that we have derived now. Beta see here in horizontal direction range, write down range is the horizontal distance. Range is the horizontal distance moved by the projectile, moved by the projectile. बेटा डिस्टेंस का फॉर्मूला आपने ये पढ़ा हुआ है क्या, ut प्लस हाफ एट स्क्वायर पढ़ा है बेटा, s इज इक्वल टू ut प्लस हाफ एट स्क्वायर। बेटा ये डिस्टेंस क्या है, this distance is known as range, so distance is known as range. What is the initial velocity, u cos theta, and what is the time from here to here, time is t, that we have already derived. What is the value of t, we have derived 2u sin theta upon g. This is the formula, first formula that we have already derived. Plus now better tell me any acceleration is there. In horizontal direction acceleration is 0, although the time from here to here is t, so this 0 into something it will be 0. In place of t what you will write, see here, in place of t what you will write, range is equals to u cos theta into t. Better t we have already derived 2u sin theta upon g. बेटा 2 को बाहर कीजिए, u इंटू यू क्या हुआ बेटा, u स्क्वायर, u स्क्वायर 2 साइन थीटा इंटू कॉस थीटा। बेटा इसे ब्रैकेट में लिखो, क्यों लिखा मैं बता रहा हूं, अपॉन जी। बेटा सी हियर, beta see here u square, beta 2 sin theta into cos theta, there is a formula 2 sin theta into cos theta is equal to sin 2 theta होता है बेटा upon d. This is the formula for range. Write down since 2 sin theta into cos theta किसके बराबर होता है बेटा, फॉर्मूला sin 2 theta। तो बेटा आपका फॉर्मूला क्या हो गया, sin 2 थीटा। बेटा साइन की वैल्यू मैक्सिमम कब होती है, sin 91, sin just remember the value of sin is maximum is 1. What is the maximum value of sine and cosine function, it is 1. What is the value of sine and cosine function, 1. And when is the value of sine is maximum, that is a 90 degree. तो बेटा ये थीटा की जगह 45 फुट करो ना, 45 to 90। बेटा आप किस जैवलिन थ्रो में, हैमर थ्रो में 45 डिग्री पर फेंकिए, पत्थर को फेंकना है, मिसाइल को फेंकना है, बेटा प्रोजेक्ट करना है, मैक्सिमम रेंज we will project at 45 degree, 45 to 90. The value of sine is maximum, the value of sine and cosine function, here sine function is there, will be maximum at theta 45 to 90. तो 90 डिग्री पर रेंज मैक्सिमम होता है बेटा, जस्ट रिमेंबर दिस वन। बेटा सीयर ये इसके इक्वल कैसे है, ये ट्रिगोनोमेट्री में पढ़ेंगे, बहुत आसान है बेटा। जैसे कि मान लियो थीटा है 30 डिग्री, थीटा क्या है बेटा 30, चलिए पुट कीजिए 2 sin 30 कितना होता है बेटा 1/2, cos 30 कितना होता है बेटा √3/2। बेटा ये कर दिया √3/2 है, इधर को पुट करो बेटा 30 to 60, sin 60 √3/2 होता है या नहीं होता है, प्रूफ हो गया, होता है बिल्कुल बेटा। The proof of this derivation that you can easily find out by the formula sin a plus b, sin a plus b, sin a into cos b plus cos a into बेटा इस आइडेंटिटी से हम फाइंड आउट कर लेंगे. I will tell you that formula and we will derive this formula. First you remember this formula, 2 sin theta into cos theta is equal to sin 2 theta. Beta, ये formula you have to remember because this is a very general formula for of trigonometry that is generally used in physics. So 2 sin theta into cos theta is equal to sin 2 theta. And the final equation becomes u square sin 2 theta upon d. And from this equation, what we concluded, if the angular projection will be 45, then 45 to the 90, the value of sine function will be maximum. We will attain the maximum range. So beta, if we want to throw any ball, any javelin, any hand during hammer throw, you want to throw that hammer to our maximum range. With what angle you must throw it? With what angle you should throw? You should throw by making an angle 45 degrees with the horizontal, then your range will be maximum. Now in next class, we will discuss about the maximum vertical height. Very simple this one. The maximum height, see here beta,